Babashuaib, the correctional officer, born in Accra, Ghana, a Quranic researcher and a critical thinker based on religion, who does online lectures based on the guidance of the Quran on platforms such as Facebook, YouTube and TikTok since 2018. In Finland, and 13 years, QBE, in Classical Arabic and MSA in Quranic Arabic. The author of the Refer to the Quran, which helps every novice to understand the steps towards understanding the Great Quran and the guidance of God in it. Babashuaib, the correctional officer, born in Accra, Ghana, a Quranic researcher and a critical thinker based on religion, who does online lectures based on the guidance of the Quran on platforms such as Facebook, YouTube and TikTok since 2018. In Finland, and 13 years, QBE, in Classical Arabic and MSA in Quranic Arabic. The author of the Refer to the Quran, which helps every novice to understand the steps towards understanding the Great Quran and the guidance of God in it.
Time to rise and meet the challenge. Babashuaib is calling you out. Meet Babashuaib, a correctional officer with a mission. Today he's throwing down the gauntlet to the mushriks, no more holding back. With his logo shirt and cap, Babashuaib sits tall and confident. He says, "The time for action is now. It's time to rise, to push past limits, and to become the best versions of ourselves." Babashuaib believes in the power of determination and resilience. His challenge is simple. Stand up, face your fears, and conquer them. Every day is a new opportunity, he says. An opportunity to grow stronger, to be better, and to leave a mark on the world. So, are you ready to accept Babashuaib's challenge? Are you ready to rise above and beyond? Join Babashuaib and let's show the world what we're made of, because the only limit is the one you set for yourself.
Without a second, this one is a pure kafir and a spy.
UTI Bozu. I see him like a comedian. There is no single hadith or single verse in the Quran or any written manuscripts of the Arabic world where they call Prophet Muhammad Nabiul Muqaddas or Nabiul Quddus. It doesn't exist. Stop fooling yourselves trying to justify, oh, he's the holy prophet. It doesn't mean I'm insulting the prophet. Use your common sense to understand what Babashuaib is trying to put in your head. Stop idolizing the honorable man. Nobody said Prophet Muhammad is not honorable. Nobody said Prophet Muhammad is not a prophet. Nobody said Prophet Muhammad is not a messenger. We venerate him. Quran chapter 7 verse 157. God says, فَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا بِهِ. Those who believe in him. I believe in Prophet Muhammad. وَعَزَّرُوهُ. I honor him. وَنَصَرُوهُ. I support him. وَاتَّبَعُوا نُورَ الَّذِي أُنزِلَ مَعَهُ. And I follow the light which was revealed with him. Where do we find the light? It's in the book of God. I want to be successful. I don't want to be a fool to straw man fallacies. When correctional officer is talking this way, you see the mushriks are agitated. Yes, because I speak with authority. He couldn't prove my arguments wrong. Did I say people should stop worshiping God? No. Did I say people should stop following the messenger? No. Did I say people should throw away the Quran? No. But he said I'm a kafir. He calls me a lunatic, a madman, a psycho, a spy.
And they koda na sade bechi nti me kase history be any way authentic this Quran.
History be any way
Because every history has been touched, it can be changed. Even the hadith ay Quran, there are some hadiths ay toli. Into your great hadith, your Hassan, your Sahih, your Muttafaqun alayhi, your Da'if. And they koda na sade bechi nti me kase history be any way authentic this Quran.
History be any way
Because every history has been touched, it can be changed. Even the hadith ay Quran, there are some hadiths ay toli. Into your great hadith, your Hassan, your Sahih, your Muttafaqun alayhi, your Da'if.
Yeah, assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen. Peace be upon you all. Yeah, this is babashuaib, the correctional officer. Thank you all for coming. I appreciate your presence. Baraz billahi minash shaitanir rajim. I seek refuge with Allah against the accursed devil. Yes. So this UTI. Yes, thank you very much, Brother Shaheen. This guy UTI, he made a confession on a TV, national TV, right? And he said something. But my problem with the sectarians is sometimes they speak the truth subconsciously, not consciously, subconsciously, because consciously they deny it. Then subconsciously they admit to it, but they don't pay attention. And so this is why babashuaib is telling you, my wise audience, always pay attention and then listen carefully. To err is human. Because me, babashuaib, sitting here, even though I try my best to give the people the truth out there, I can make a slip up, I can make a mistake. You understand? So by cautioning you to listen carefully is helpful for me and for you, so that you and I can help each other to now attack the liars out there. Do you understand? So when I say something and I made a slip up, this is where, because you are a good listener, you can help me out and say, okay, babashuaib, you were meant to say blue, you said black. Fine, then I can correct my mistake. And do likewise the same thing to the scholars, even though they are doing it sometimes intentionally by lying to you because they know you don't check. You understand? So Quran chapter 3 verse 78, it says, وَيَقُولُونَ عَلَى اللَّهِ الْكَذِبَ وَهُمْ يَعْلَمُونَ. They say a lie against God or about God while they know. Do you get my point? But you don't know because you don't verify. So now babashuaib is helping you, my wise audience, to verify the claims people make. Simple. That's the logic behind it. You don't need to be exceptional at knowledge or wisdom. You just need to learn how to use your intelligence. That's what. So God keeps saying, even in Quran chapter 39 verse 18, God says, "Allazina yastami'una al-qawla fayattabi'una ahsanahu. Ulaika allazina adahumullah wa ulaika hum ulil albab." It says, those who listen to the word, or you can say the speech, and follow the best thereof or out of it, those are the ones whom God has guided, and those are the ones who possess what? Intelligence. That's intellect. So you just need an iota of intelligence when you are listening to a learned person. You understand? Somebody claiming he's learned, somebody claiming he's a scholar, somebody claiming he's a preacher, somebody claiming he's a lecturer, even your teachers in the schools academically. Listen carefully to your teacher. They can make mistake. So if you the student, don't scrutinize or examine what they say, then you are in limbo, because you might fail your exams at the end of the day by taking the wrong calculation or the statement your teacher said. Do you understand? So, but that's why, babashuaib, when I speak, I back up my claims with the proof. I'm not saying you should take up what I say by force. The burden of verification is on you, not me. You. But however, I give you the benefit of the doubt by putting the references on the screen, giving you the reference number, then you examine it yourself. Because remember, Quran chapter 17 verse 36 says, do not pursue that of which you have no knowledge. Do you understand? So in order to take up that knowledge, you have to verify. Because God says, indeed, the hearing, the eyesight, and the mind, all those will be held accountable thereof. It's questionable. We say mas'ula, it is something to be questioned. So God will question you. You'll be listening to babashuaib. Did you apply your eyesight? Did you apply your mind? Did you apply your hearing? Did you just listen for listening's sake? Or did you just follow babashuaib like a sheep or sheeple? So don't do that. If you have done those mistakes with the previous scholars or the so-called scholars out there, then don't do that again. Please learn how to rectify this. And this is why I keep saying we have to unlearn to relearn. Do you get my point? You have to unlearn and relearn. So there's always room for improvement at every given time. Yes. Yes, thank you very much. Mohammed, yes, I see your message. Salam to you. Peace. So Let me address somebody, some emotional person here. Let me teach some manners to this person. This person is saying that Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. He says, we all make mistakes. There is no need to go online to attack your Muslim brother or call the names like lunatic. My brothers, we all make mistakes. Inbox them and correct them. Okay, he meant to say correct them, not collect them. Okay, so I don't know who this message is attributed to, but maybe he's advising everybody in general, right? Okay, so yeah, thank you very much, Imran. Yes, Momadi Pedro, I see you, brother Momadi. We have Buki. Thank you all for coming. Thank you very much, Zuleika. Thank you. So he says, may Allah keep you in safety. Thank you very much, brother Talib. I appreciate the support. Thank you for the gift as well. God bless you. So thank you all for those who are coming now. I appreciate your support. Right? So kindly pay attention to the advice I'm giving out there. Right? So let me check here. So I played a video concerning this guy, the UTI Bozo. He said this. Let me play the video again. Listen to what he said.
And they koda nessa de bechi. Inti because history be new way authentic this Quran.
History be any
Because every history has been touched. It can be changed. Even the hadith are Quran. There are some hadiths are totally. Into your great hadith, you Hassan, you Sahih, you muttafaqun alayhi, you da'if.
He says there is no authentic history out there except the Quran. This is what UTI Bozo said. There is no authentic history out there except the Quran. Then he says, even the hadith, since they have been created, there is toli. When you hear a Ghanaian saying toli, there is full of lies. So it is story, and then we say toli to let you know that that story is a formulated lie. So we say toli. So he said it's toli. There's toli there. So you see how they shoot themselves not only in the foot, but in the head. So he's saying the only authentic history is the Quran. Then why don't I only stick with the only authentic history? Why? Because I don't know if he understands English. He says the only authentic history is the Quran. So then we are saying we don't need the garbages. We need the only authentic history. But it's a problem for bozos. I don't understand. Do you get my point? So this is why babashuaib is telling you guys, use your reasoning to listen to these bozos out there. Look, they are not scholars, for God's sake. They are scholars in lies. And I don't think you are here to waste your time to listen to lies. Do you get my point? So don't waste your time listening to bozos. Had you been verifying these things for a long time, we wouldn't get to this point. They will not be wasting your time online. Because the moment you see them on social media, you just skip. Do you get my point? It's like when you are listening to music and then you have the remote and then you know how to skip, right? You just skip to the next music because that music is boring or something. So now, babashuaib, this is why I'm helping you to realize this bozos you see online. So then he told you, he went ahead to mention the grading. Muttafaqu alayhi is there is da'if, there is Hassan, there is Qudsi. The grades they give their own. They are the ones who gave the hadith those grades. The Prophet, remember, the Prophet never graded it for them. I wonder if the Quran, the verses in the Quran, we have da'if, we have Sahih, we have Qudsi, we have Muttafaqu alayhi, we have Hassan. Hey, Mushrikanga. No, these mushriks, they are not serious. So they've taken the religion as a joke. You know, you can't take them serious. Please don't waste your time with these people. Right? So there is one particular video by Numan Ali Khan. Before I delve into the hadith itself, there is one video I saw about Numan Ali Khan. People will be questioning babashuaib saying that, how come this guy, he's doing video, look at the way he's dressed like 50 Cent. By the way, this is my merch. This is a mesh, right? So when I'm wearing this is my cap. This is my correctional officer's hat, that, you know, the cap I normally wear. This is it. Okay. This is it. Now, when I wear this and I wear my t-shirt, it infuriates the mushriks. Like it is burning them to the core. Without a joke. I'm not joking, right? It burns them to the core when they see me dressed like this with my cap and they see my logo. It's like, you know how the police officer, when a criminal sees the police officer with the sign, the police car, when you see the sign, you get frightened. Like, you're like, oh, police. Oh, shit, police. Or the police is wearing house uniform, but all of a sudden they take their badge out and show you to you. You know, you just like freak out. You're like, oh my God. So even if you have, let's say, weed or something, you throw it because you're scared. So the idea of my logo and my branding is when the mushriks see it, they are like, oh shit, that's the guy again. You understand? And kudos to my elder, Elder Omar Zaid, right? Omar Zaid, when he first came around my video, you saw how he spoke about me, mentioned the correctional officer. He says there is this guy, the correctional officer. You understand how he spoke about him. That video, when I first saw it, somebody shared it to me, I got goosebumps. Yes. So it tells you something. It tells you the impact of the appearance I give up there, how it pierces the eyes and the ears and the hearts of the mushriks. They hate to see me like that. By the way, they are my #1 fans. They like to watch me a lot. Okay, anyways, let me play this video by Numan Ali Khan. It has to do with the dress code, the way we dress.
I want you to understand something. Islam became global. Islam was meant to be global, not Arab culture. Arab culture is Arab culture. And Allah created Indonesian culture. And Allah also allowed for Sri Lankan culture to develop, and Indian culture to develop, and African cultures to develop. Islam did not come so everyone around the world wears thobes. And everyone says, hey, what are people in Saudi wearing? Let me copy that, because I want to be more Islamic. That's not why Islam came. Islam did not come for that reason. You know, we developed this idea that the more you look like an Arab, not even every Arab, the more you look like an Arab from the Gulf, the more Islamic you are. I don't know where you got this idea from, but it's definitely not the Quran. The Sahaba themselves, they went to Rome. Arab Sahaba went to Rome and put on Roman clothes. They did that. Quran gave guidelines on how you should dress, but not what you should wear, how you should wear. The idea that somehow copying Arab culture makes you more religious, or somehow that's a superior culture, is actually what Islam came to end.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, this is Numan Ali Khan. Did you hear the message, the short message he gave within that 1 minute of the playtime? Did you see the wisdom he spoke? This is what the mainstream mushriks, this is what they fail to realize, because babashuaib is not wearing jalbab. Babashuaib is not dressed like Mufti Menk. Babashuaib is... Don't be surprised. Look, my dressing alone, you see a mushrik telling his counterpart that he says this guy is going to hell. Look at even the cap is wearing 50 cents. He's going to hell. So this is how bozofied the mushriks have been programmed. Do you get my point? So sometimes you see me wearing an African necklace. You know, I do all this to agitate the mushriks, because I know God is not against the way I dress. My style of dress is not as if I'm naked. Do you understand? So the jalbab is not as if I'm against it. I can wear it. It's just a style of dressing. I can choose. Look, I have jalbabs in my closet. Yes, I do. For those who have watched some of my old videos, I used to wear it. I have it. But I just don't want people to think it's all about that makes you a Muslim. You understand? That is when I see Western ladies all of a sudden also wearing the hijab and dress like Arabs, I'm like, hello, you are only copying Arabs. There's nothing Islamic about this. I'm not saying it's bad. It's never a bad thing to wear. No, it's beautiful, actually. You can decide to wear it. There's nothing wrong. But don't put it on God, please. Don't say God said that's the way he says you should dress. No. You should dress with modesty. I appreciate that. But don't dress and say this is how God says I should dress. Please. That's not how he said. Actually, he wants you to cover your shame, to cover the parts that can cause you to be sexually harassed. Yes, cover it. But to say, oh, God wants me to dress like this, wear hijab this way. No, please. Not that. Okay, anyway, so the main topic for today, I'm going to talk about the hadith. But before I go to the hadith, let me quote two hadiths concerning the sectarians. Like, according to the sectarians, look, let me see this hadith. According to the sectarians, when I last week when I made a video concerning that you are not supposed to be calling the prophet holy prophet. The reason is when he was alive, nobody called him Quddus or holy. Nobody. When he was alive, none of the Sahabas, nobody at his time called him holy. God in the Quran never called him holy. So let's assume the hadiths, they want to still force the hadith books on us. Not even the hadith books call the prophet Muhammad holy. They never call him Quddus or Muqaddas. It doesn't exist. So according to their own hadith books, I'm going to quote something so that to seal the argument, to show you why out of their stupidity, when they keep saying holy prophet, tell them, anybody who says, if you hear anybody saying holy prophet, tell him you are a fool. And then I'm going to give you the reason why from their own books, because there is nothing sweeter than using the own book of your enemy to whip them. Yes. So I'm going to use their hadith books to whip them again out of their foolishness when they keep saying holy prophet. I've already explained to you why I say stop saying it. It doesn't mean I'm against Prophet Muhammad, right? So listen carefully. You are not supposed to call him holy. He's a human being. He's a man. He's a honorable man. Somebody can be honorable, doesn't mean they have to be holy. Somebody can be blessed. It doesn't mean he has to be holy. Do you get my point? Okay. So according to their own hadith book concerning bid'ah, when we say bid'ah, it is innovation. Innovation. Now, anything we call innovation, according to the sectarians, they are things that were not done at the time of the prophet or were not approved at the time of the prophet, but people are trying to invent it. That is what they call bid'ah. That is innovation. That means you are bringing a new concept which never existed in Islam. Pay attention carefully. So according to their own book, which is what? Listen. According to their own book, which is Sunan an-Nisa, Sunan an-Nasa'i. This Nasa'i, this hadith I'm going to quote for you is Sahih. You go to 1578. Let me put it on the screen. Please write it down. Sunan an-Nasa'i, 1578. Write it down, please. I'm going to show you the hadith, right? Let me put it on the screen to make it easier for you. So 1578. 578. Okay. So that's a kitab of the salat, right? 578. Then I'll share it on the screen. So for those watching on Facebook and YouTube, you see the screen, but those on TikTok, I apologize. You cannot see it unless you rewatch the program, right? Then you can see it. So I'm going to put it on the screen. Let me share it here. Yes. So this is the hadith. If you go to sunnah.com, right? Sunnah.com. You find the hadith in Sunan an-Nasa'i, 1578. Now, this hadith is concerning what we call bid'ah, which is innovation. It says the hadith has been narrated by Jabir bin Abdullah. He said in his khutbah, he says the messenger of God used to praise God as he deserved to be praised. Then he will say, whomever God guides, none can lead astray. And whomever God sends astray, none can guide. The truest word is the book of God, and the best of guidance is the guidance of Mohammed. This is what they say in their own hadith books. So the best of guidance is not the guidance of God, according to their hadith book. It's not the guidance of God. the best of guidance is the guidance of Muhammad. After God saying in Quran chapter 2, verse 272, Laysa alayka hudahum, their guidance is not based on you, Muhammad. Walakin Allah yahdi man yasha. However, God guides whomever He wills. Quran chapter 2, verse 272. But then you have the bozos here, these mushriks, they will tell you, they will say what? The best of guidance is the guidance of Muhammad. So now, according to them, the best of guidance is not the guidance of what? Of God. This is it in Arabic here. Look, we here. They say, wa ahsan al hadi hadiyu Muhammad, which is shirk. Muhammad does not have guidance. He doesn't have his own guidance. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let me make this simple. Quran chapter 10. Let me make it simple. I'm going to counter the argument before we finish with the hadith. According to Quran chapter 10, verse 35, God says, Kul hal min shurakaikum man yahdi ila al-haq. Kulillah yahdi lil-haq. Afa man yahdi ila al-haq. Ahakku an yuttaba'a amman la yahiddi illa an yuhda. Then God says, فَمَا لَكُمْ كَيْفَ تَحْكُمُونَ. God says, say, Muhammad, you as a messenger, tell the people, because they are idolizing you. Are there any of your idols who guides to the truth? Are there any? So Muhammad is the one who guides you to the truth. He is now a God. Then God says, say, God guides to the truth. Because it's the duty of God. Yes, God can guide you through babashuaib. God can guide you through other people. Yes, it can, but it has to be the guidance of God, not the guidance of babashuaib, not the guidance of Muhammad. You are a fool, the biggest fool, to think Muhammad has a guidance on his own. Wallahi, wallahi. You are the biggest fool to think Muhammad himself has guidance. After this verse. Okay. Say, God guides to the truth. So now God is asking you, the mushriks, a question. So is one who guides to the truth, listen, worthier to be followed, or one who cannot guide unless he is guided? So how do you judge if you are not a fool? How do you judge? Are you going to say Muhammad has the best guidance? You are the dumbest fool ever. I repeat. So according to their hadith book, they said the best guidance is the guidance of Muhammad. You see the foolish, this is the garbage books. But I'm going to use the garbage books to teach them wisdom, because they don't have wisdom anyway. I told you their brains need factory reset, right? I know they are watching. I'm not scared of them anyways. They know. So in their own book, then they said the best guidance is the guidance of what? Muhammad. Then they say the worst things are those that are newly invented. This part is going to be sweet, Papa. The worst of things are those that are newly invented. Then it says every newly invented thing is an innovation, and every innovation is going astray. Dalala. Look, this is where, look here, check here in Arabic. This is what it says. It says, وَكُلَّ مُهْدَثَةٍ بِدْعَةٌ. Every newly invented thing is innovation. It's a bid'ah. Then it says, وَكُلَّ بِدْعَةٍ ضَلَالَةٍ. It says, every bid'ah is dalala. Look, every innovation that you bring, and any newly invented thing, since we didn't find it in the Quran, and we didn't find it with the messenger, is dalala. It's astray. Then now it's going to get interesting. Then it says, after it says وَكُلَّ بِدْعَةٍ dalala, then it says وَكُلَّ دَلَالَةٍ فِي النَّارِ. So every dalala, which is the bid'ah, listen, every dalala, which is what? Which will take you to the hell, that dalala is the newly innovation you have caused in your deen, according to you, the mushriks. Because this is your book I'm quoting to you. I don't believe in this comedy. But I'm telling you, the Quran is enough for me. But if you believe these comedy books, they are telling you again, if you innovate anything newly, by calling the prophet holy. Because my challenge to you, the mushriks, look, any mushrik in this world, look, if you like, just be Mufti Menk or Zakir Naik, because Ghana, they don't have any top scholar. If you like, be anybody you like. Come face me, babashuaib. I challenge every mushrik on this universe. Face me and show me where Prophet Muhammad was called holy in the Quran or the Hadith or at his time, or any of the Sahaba ever called him Quddus or Muqaddas. Wallahi, I'll stop being a Muslim if you can prove to me. This is your own book. It's saying if you invent something, because the Prophet was never called holy. At his time, in the Quran, in the Hadith, he is never called holy. You are insisting he's holy prophet. I said you are a fool. I'm not scared of you. You are a fool, and I can prove to you. Now your book, your own comedy book, is telling you you are going to hell, because it tells you if you innovate anything newly, which is not there, which even the prophet never gave you, is dalala. And if it is dalala, it belongs to hell. You're going to hell. So the hadith is telling you وَكُلَّ دَلَالَةٍ فِي النَّارِ. So everything which is dalala, it will take you to hell. So that is why Quran chapter 10 verse 32. Let's go back to Quran chapter 10 again. Quran chapter 10 verse 32. It says فَذَلِكُمُ اللَّهُ رَبُّكُمُ الْحَقِّ. Then it says فَمَاذَا بَعْدَ الْحَقِّ إِلَّا دَلَالٌ فَأَنَّى تُصْرَفُونَ. God says, and that is God, your Lord, the truth. He is the Al-Haq. Then, so now God is asking you, the mushriks, the question. So what is there after the truth, if not error? You see dalala there? Dalal, this word, dalal here. Dalal. What is there after the truth? Because Quran is the truth. Quran is the truth. So what is there after the truth? It's the dalala. So I dare you, the mushriks, come and prove to me where God called the prophet Nabiul Quddus or Nabiul Muqaddas in the book of God. You cannot prove it. So I made it easy for you. I said, let's go to your garbage books. Prove to me from your garbage book, Hadith book, where he is called Nabiul Muqaddas or Nabiul Quddus. Wallahi, if you can prove to me, I'll stop being a Muslim. It doesn't exist. Stop fooling yourselves. Babashuaib is only here to wake up your dead brains. That's all I'm here to do. Not the wise ones. I'm not talking about the wise ones. The wise ones, your brain is not dead. You already had the factory reset. You get my point. But the mushriks, we still have to take them to factory reset by their own garbage books. So your own book is saying, وَكُلَّ دَلَالَةٍ فِي النَّارِ. And he says, وَكُلَّ بِدْعَةٍ دَلَالَةٍ. So he's telling you every innovation, newly invented thing you put in your religion is dalala, it's astray. So don't fool yourself. You keep saying holy prophet. Come and prove to babashuaib. If I catch you, bozus. Let's go again. In their own hadith book, I take you to another hadith. In their own hadith book, I take you to this one is Sahih. This one is let me see, which one should I give you now? Yeah, in Sahih al-Bukhari, that is 2697, where the prophet is saying that whoever invents into our affair that which is not there, then it is rejected. For who raddu, that thing is to be rejected. If it is not in the affairs that the messenger gave to the people, reject that thing. It's not there, right? So the messenger never asked you to call him holy. He never asked you to call him holy prophet. You are a fool. I repeat, you are the biggest fool to keep saying holy prophet. If you don't like it, go and bend the sea. Okay, now let's go. Many a times, let me tell you something. Many a times you hear the mushriks keep telling you that, you know, the Quran was not complete. It was not written at the time of the prophet. It was not written at the time of the prophet. It was only written after him. Or they will say it was not compiled at the time of the prophet. It was compiled after he died. And then they say the same way the hadith came is the same way the Quran came. Hey, who born these guys by mistake? Seriously, who? Who is teaching you these lies? Okay, babashuaib is going to dismantle all this garbage nonsense they keep telling you. that the Quran was not complete at the time of the Prophet. It was not compiled. It was not. Look. Let's not go far. Let's go to the Quran. Let me make it easier for you. Anybody who told you is the Sahaba going to compile the Quran, listen, quote Quran chapter 75 for them. And you start from verse 16. This is the verse on the screen. Anybody who tells you the Quran was not compiled at the time of the Prophet, listen what God says. God was telling the Prophet, La tuharrik bihi lisanaka lita'ajala bihi. He says, do not move your tongue with it in order to hasten with it. Then he says, Inna alayna jama'ahu wa qur'anahu. So indeed, upon us it is gathering, collection, compilation. The word jama'ahu here is talking about an object. It's talking about the Quran. So we are going to check the context. You're going to see, right? So that you see the object. So this masculine pronoun is used for the book, the Quran. God always use masculine pronoun to attribute to the Quran consistently. But when it comes to the verses are ayat. So in Arabic language, it is classified as a feminine noun. So they are attributed with a feminine pronoun. So if it is the verses, he will use the hiya or ha to attribute to the verses. But if it's addressing to the book, because the book possesses the verses. So anything which is in possession first is given a masculine gender. You understand? Anything which possesses something is given a masculine gender to possess something, right? Okay. So now the book, which is the Quran, is given a masculine pronoun. In Arabic, they say damir. Damir means pronoun. So this damir is being described in these verses. The context is going to reveal what book or what is God talking about, right? So let's check the context. He's telling the Prophet, do not move your tongue with it in order to hasten with it. In order to understand the further contrast to this, go to Quran chapter 20, verse 114. You understand further contrast on this, right? Then it says, indeed, upon us it is compilation, that is collection. He didn't say upon you, Muhammad, or upon you and your people is the compilation of the Quran. No. So somebody will say, are you saying God and his angels did it? Was it not the same God who sent angels in the form of human beings to go and destroy Sodom and Gomorrah? So are you saying God cannot send angels in the human form to do the assignment? You think your foolish books are the ones going to tell us how God compiled his book? Hey! Indeed, upon us. God never said upon you, Muhammad, and your disciples. No. It doesn't say that. Indeed, upon us, it is compilation. The word jama'ahu is compilation. And its reading, the way the Quran will be read to the people, is the duty of God and his angels. Verse 18. فَإِذَا قَرَأْنَاهُ, when we read it, فَاتَّبِعْ Quran. So when we read it, then follow its reading. You can see that the masculine pronoun is consistent, going throughout, telling you what is going on. Then verse 19, then he says, Thumma inna alayna bayanahu. So you see the masculine pronoun is at the end here. Who? Up here, who? Up here, who? Up here, he. The he and the who. Same. Some has kestra and dumma. Same thing. It's talking about the masculine pronouns still. So now verse 90 says, then indeed upon us is its clarification. He never said upon you, Muhammad, or your sunnah, or your disciples, your sahabas, companions, is the clarification of the Quran. No. Just like the mushriks, they will keep telling you, let's go to the tafsir of Ibn Kathir, Ibn Taymiyyah, Ibn Tabari, Ibn whatever. Hey. Allah mushrikai. Okay. So God says, then indeed upon us. He never says upon you. So God and his angels, is that their duty to do that. Do you understand me? Don't let any mushrik tell you, oh, it was the Sahaba who compiled the where I dare you mushriks. Come and give me one verse where God says the Sahabas are the one to compile the Quran. You come, I dare you. If you are a man, join me on TikTok, or when I open the phone lines, call me and let's see if you have balls. Or tell your scholars, this guy is bragging, this guy is too known online. come and prove him wrong. Come and shame him and see if babashuaib is joking online and see. So now, you see the evidences from the Quran. Is God who is going to compile the Quran. He never said any Sahaba. Anybody is telling you Sahabas are the one telling you are a liar. God never said any Sahaba should compile the Quran. I'm serious. God is fully working 24/7. He has his angels all over. He can send them in the human form to do everything he wants. So stop fooling people and saying the Sahaba. Do you know the Sahaba? Let's go back to their claims again. So you hear the sectarians telling you that it is the Sahaba who compiled the Quran. That is a lie. As a matter of fact, still it is God who chose who to inherit the book. It wasn't the Sahaba who transferred it to somebody and said they transferred it to some. It's a lie. My lady said, okay, let me give you a verse so that you see that babashuaib is not wasting your time. Quran chapter 35 verse 31, and I'm going to read up to verse 32. Check what God told the prophet. God says, وَالَّذِي أَوْهَيْنَا إِلَيْكَ مِنَ الْكِتَابِ هُوَ الْحَقِّ مُصَدِّقًا لِمَا بَيْنَ يَدَيْهِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ بِإِبَادِهِ لَخَبِيرٌ بَصِيرٌ. Verse 32. ثُمَّ أَوْرَثْنَا الْكِتَابَ الَّذِينَ أَسْتَفَيْنَا مِنْ إِبَادِنَا. Then he says what? Now listen. فَمِنْهُمْ ظَالِمٌ لِنَفْسِهِ وَمِنْهُمْ مُقْتَصِدٌ وَمِنْهُمْ سَابِقٌ بِالْخَيْرَاتِ بِإِذْنِ اللَّهِ ذَلِكَ هُوَ الْفَضْلُ الْكَبِيرُ. So God says that, it starts from verse 31. And what we inspired to you, this is the second person pronoun talking to the prophet. He is the first to receive the book, right? So what we inspired to you of the Al-Kitab is the truth, confirming what was before it. Indeed, God to his servant is cognizant and conversant. Verse 32. Then we caused the book to be inherited. The word awrathna is about inheritance, which is to transmit, because inheritance is about transmission. So let's say I'm using my phone and I'm no more. So I write a will and I say, give it to my son. That is a transmission. I'm transmitting this to him. So it's still inheritance. So the word awrathna can be used as to transmit. You transmit it to somebody. But this is about inheritance. So God says after the prophet, then that's why the word thumma is used in between those two verses. The thumma is showing you something continuous, right? Thumma awrathna al-kitab astafayna min ibadina. It says awrathna al-kitab allazina astafayna min ibadina. So God says, then we cause the book to be inherited by those whom we have chosen among our servants. It's God who chooses the servants to inherit the Quran. You are letting some foolish mushriks out there telling you that, oh, it was the Sahaba, Usman, Abu Zaid, Ibn Thabit. They are the ones who, I'm going to use their garbage books to show you how nonsensical everything they are telling you. You never sat down to examine. Quran chapter 3 verse 78 is clearly telling you, وَيَقُولُونَ عَلَى اللَّهِ الْكَذِبَ وَهُمْ يَعْلَمُونَ. So they will lie about God while they know. Do you know why they will lie? Because you don't verify. That's why God says, Hatu Qur'anakum. If somebody is waffling, saying things, tell him, okay, oh yeah, mushrik, no problem. Can you bring the proof? Let's check. Bring it. Let's examine what you're saying. Then we can examine. Yes, salam, Sister Melanie. I see you. Then we examine your claim. That is simple. No need for fight. So babashuaib is going to examine your comedy books. We are going to see if it is true that the Quran was not complete and compiled at the time of the prophet. Let's check your hadith books. Remember, I'm the correctional officer. Don't forget that. Correctional officer, right? So now let's go. How many minutes so far? Okay, I've done 53 minutes. There is still time. Okay. This water is sweet. Oh, I don't know if there's sugar in my water, but it's sweet. What is wrong? Or did my kids put sugar in my water? Let me see. Okay. Yeah. So now let's go to their hadith book. The first hadith I'm going to quote, which is usually you all know, is called Sahih Muslim 3004, right? Sahih Muslim 3004. We are going to examine that hadith, right? I don't know. Should I go to Sunnah? Let me go to sunnah.com. There's nothing sweet to use the enemy's own page, right? So let's use it. So this is, we go to sunnah.com, then we go to Sahih Muslim 3004, 3004, right? That is the book of Zuhd and softening hearts, right? So then we go to 3004. Let me scroll 3004, 3004. Yes. Gotcha. So this is the hadith. I'm going to share on the screen. Many of you know this hadith, but I'm going to show you a contrast on this hadith where you can understand for argument against the mushriks. All babashuaib is doing you is to weaponize you. Your mind, your brain is a weapon, so keep it loaded. So I'm giving you all the informations when you are dealing with mushriks, because babashuaib, I deal with mushriks on a regular basis. So it's not new thing for me, right? I know how they present their arguments. So they will try to be testing your mind with certain arguments. Most of their argument is, how was the Quran compiled? They keep using that against you. So babashuaib is going to give you that link, that missing link you might not know, so that now you know how to deal with the mushriks when they are trying to bombard you with certain questions. How did you get the Quran? The Quran was not compiled. The same way which the hadith was transmitted was the same way which the Quran came. You know, the Prophet didn't put any tashkil. This is the argument they always present. So Sahih Muslim 3004. This is the second most authentic book according to them. This is the second after Sahih Bukhari. This is the second most authentic book. You see? According to them, not according to me. This is the second most authentic book after the Sahih Bukhari. This is Sahih Muslim. So now, Abu Sa'id al-Khudr reported that God's messenger said. So normally when you take their hadith book, it is coming from a lot of people before it gets to Abu Sa'id Khudr. So normally if you check in the Arabic version, you see Haddathana Haddab bin Khalid. So when you check it in the English here, you don't see Haddab. Haddab, you not see his name here. No Haddab. You only see Khudr, Sayyid al-Khudr. Or Sayyid Khudr. This is here in Arabic here. This is Sa'id al-Khudri. So they shorten the chain of narration, which is coming from narrated to us by, or according to this, according to that. So they will shorten those chain of narrations, then they will bring you that to shorten it, and then they will Sayyid al-Khudr said. Then he says, the messenger said. So Sayyid al-Khudr is now saying that the messenger said. Now listen, I don't believe in this comedy book, but I'm just showing you for argument's sake, because this is Sahih. They classified as authentic. It says in Arabic, let's start with Arabic. It says, La taktubu anni. It says, do not write from me. The word taktubu, it comes from the word kataba, meaning to write. To write. So now it says, La, do not write from me. This is what the Prophet said, according to the Hadith book, right? So he says, La taktubu anni. Then he says, Waman kataba anni, whoever writes from me, Gair al-Quran, other than the Quran. Listen carefully. I'm not saying it. Their own book says it. Do not write from me whoever writes from me other than the Quran, فَلْيَمْهُهُ, he says, wipe it out. Meaning you have to efface it, erase it. If it is other than the Quran. He says, don't write it. I'm not saying it. Their own book is saying that. Then he says, وَحَدِّثُ أَنِّي. This حَدِّثُ أَنِّي is not the same as write. كَتَبَ أَنِّي. Listen to the instruction. Do not write. It's not the same as narrate. I think the mushriks, they don't understand Arabic even. I don't know why. With their Azhar and University of Medina, Saudi, Mecca, Azhar, Egypt. See, they still don't understand simple instruction. There is a difference between do not write and then narrate. If I say narrate something, doesn't mean write it down. So, وَحَدِّثُ أَنِّي, then he says, narrate from me. That the question, put the question mark. Narrate what? Because he is giving an instruction. The instruction he is giving is do not write from me other than the Quran. So meaning he has given you permission to write the Quran. Then he says, whoever writes other than the Quran should efface it. Take it out. Then now he says, narrate from me. You see, the mushriks, they never use their common sense to ask, what should we narrate from you? This statement he's saying, narrate from me, meaning narrate to the people. Tell them about this thing I'm saying, that they shouldn't write anything except the Quran. So narrate from me doesn't mean write from me. They don't understand instructions. And I'm going to use their own books to prove to you. He never gave anybody authority or even left any other book except the Quran, according to their own book again. Okay. Then he says here, Wala haraja waman kazaba alayya, and whoever will lie against me or about me, which we can find in their books. They will say he married a 6-year-old girl. They will say he slept with 9 or 11 women in one night. They will say he did what? He slept with his wife when they are menstruating. He says he urinated standing, and then they will say he slept. How will I say? He slept with his concubine on one of his wife's bed, and then they will say his wife drank his urine. And I'm not joking, to be honest. All these claims you see me saying, I can prove it. They have it in their hadith books. You think I'm joking, right? And they even go ahead to say, whoever changes his religion, kill him. Man baddala dinahu faqtuluhu. These are all found in the hadith. Oh, you never checked, huh? Correctional officer will help you. My videos are there concerning the hadith. It will help you. It will make life easier for you. So, when the prophet says narrate from me, means narrate to the people that the prophet says do not write anything except the what? The Quran. So this is the instruction from the prophet, right? Okay, even if I don't agree with your hadith, at least it makes sense. I agree, right? Okay, so now we are going to use this hadith to draw contrast with another hadith. Then we see the consistency. Then we see the contradictions. Remember, Quran chapter 4 verse 82. It says, أَفَلَا يَتَدَبَّرُونَ الْقُرْآنَ وَلَوْ كَانَ مِنْ عِنْدِ غَيْرِ اللَّهِ لَوَجِدُوهُ فِيهِ اخْتِلَافًا كَثِيرًا. Do they not contemplate the Quran? Had it been from other than God, they would have found therein numerous discrepancies, contradictions will have been there. But we don't find that. Where do we find it? In the comedy books. Sahih al-Bukhari, comedy. That's where you find discrepancies. Do you see my point? So those comedy books cannot be from God. So now the book of God. The prophet, according to your hadith, says don't write anything except the Quran, right? So that is hadith number 1. Let's go to hadith number 2. Please mark it down and use it for your argument against the mushriks. I'm going to teach you how to argue with them. Don't rush at all. Always use the proof and evidences. Okay. The second hadith I'm going to quote is found in Sahih al-Bukhari 5669. 5,669. So let's go sunnah.com. Again, the website is free, by the way. If they will close it down because of us, we've already copied the important hadith already. So let them close it down, no problem. So Sahih al-Bukhari, then we go to 5,669. Let me put it on the screen. Here, 5,669 is the book of patience, right? Yes, I'm almost there. Have patience for me. You get the hadith. 5,669. This is the hadith on the screen. Let me share it. This is the hadith on the screen. Now, this hadith, according to this hadith, listen what happened. It says, narrated by Ibn Abbas. But like I said, when you check the full hadith, it says, Haddathana Ibrahim bin Musa. It starts with this. Haddathana Ibrahim bin Musa. But they don't bring it in the English translation. They only shorten it and then they bring the last person who is going to narrate the hadith. So this is what they call the chain of narration. It keeps going. Then they will tell you, we know the history of Ibrahim. We know the history of Musa. We know the history of Hisham. They want you to waste all your years studying about these unknown personalities. By the time you finish, you are dead. Judgment day is already up. No, ladies and gentlemen, to be honest, look, let me tell you something, a fact here. Imagine you are in the exams hall, right? And you have been given 10 questions to answer, and then you have been given only 30 minutes to answer 10 questions. Then you wasted your time reading the questions. You are reading the questions. And then in the question, they said, babashuaib is going to the market, and he is going to buy banana. Then now you are sitting in the exams hall thinking, who is babashuaib? Babashuaib, is he honest? Is he babashuaib? Do you know babashuaib? You're asking your colleague. By the time you find out who, your teacher says time is up. Exams time is up. Oh yeah. Yoruba will say otita. It's done. Oh, it's done. Oh yeah. Hey, Ujirix. So they will be wasting your time mentioning some caricature names or known personality, like they as if I know the names, I'm going to paradise. I'm serious. Do you understand? Mm-hmm. So here, let me put the verse. There are hadiths on the screen, right? Okay. Oh, there's a distraction on the screen. Oh, sorry about this. Where is this one from? Why is this distracting my screen? Just a second. Let me fix this issue here. Okay. So this is the hadith on the screen. So when you shorten the hadith here, it goes that when the Prophet was sick on his deathbed. Oh, why is the page like that? Let me see. Why the hell is this thing still appearing on my screen? Seriously. Okay, I think I need to click on it. Just a second. I need to click on it to disappear. That thing disappear because it's disturbing the screen. So let me see if I can click on it. If it doesn't, then I will have to open it. Let me see. Okay, this is the hadith. I think now it's okay. Yeah, now it should be okay, right? Okay. Yeah. So it says, when God's messenger was on his deathbed, and in the house there were some people, among whom was Umar bin al-Khattab. The Prophet said, "Come, let me write for you a statement." Let me highlight it here. Here. It says, halumma aktub lakum kitaban la tadilu ba'dahu. It says, come, let me write for you a writing, kitaban, something that I should write, that you will not go astray after it. So meaning, regardless of the Quran, they will still go astray. But we are going to see the loopholes in this hadith, according to this hadith. So now, listen, he was on his deathbed. Assuming if they were writing hadith already, how come now he still has to write something for them? If there was already hadith book, listen carefully. This hadith says he was on his deathbed. So on his deathbed means he's about to die. Assuming if there were already hadith books written by the Sahaba and whoever they keep telling you, why is it now telling them, come, aktubu lakum kitaban la tadillu ba'dahu, that you will not go astray after it? If they were already hadith books, because the mushrik says the Quran alone is not sufficient, right? So you need some garbage books again to help you to be guided, right? So if there were hadith books, let's ask this question, because when they quote hadith books for you, don't let them go scot-free. Question them. God says, "Walau kana min indi ghayrillah." If it's not from, if it's from other than God, you will find there in numerous contradictions. We believe this is not the Quran. This is hadith books from them. It is not part of the Quran. If they are imposing this on you, what you need to do is ask them the question. So the Prophet was on his deathbed, right? They will say, yeah. He's telling the people to bring a paper so that he will write something that they will not go astray. Then ask them the question, was the Quran not there already? Is not the Quran the guidance for mankind? Is it not the Quran that God says, ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ? It's a guidance for those who are pious. So how come you are telling me the Prophet is telling people to bring a paper for him to write something? After that, they will not go astray. But let's go and see the loophole in this hadith. فَقَالَ عُمَرْ إِنَّ النَّبِيَّ قَدْ غَلَبَ عَلَيْهِ وَجَعٌ. He says, indeed, the Prophet is what? Sick. He's ill. Galaba alayhi waja'u, meaning the sickness has overcome him already. Then now he says, wa indakumul Quran. While with you is the Quran. Wa indakumul Quran. And the Quran is with you. So which means, look, the Quran has a definite article. Which, when we say definite article, something which is specified with a reference is specified. The specificity of a reference. So meaning Quran is there. The Quran is complete. It can be referred to, right? So now Umar was telling the people, the Prophet is sick, and we have the Quran. So what are you trying to do? So now Umar said, Hasbuna, here. Hasbuna kitabullah. He says the book of God is sufficient for us. It's sufficient too. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't believe in this hadith. By the way, I'm just helping you out. I don't believe in this book. But if you are a mushrik and you believe in these comedy books, I need you to use your factory reset to question this comedy here. Seriously. Now, the Prophet was telling the people who are next to his deathbed that they should bring a paper so that he can write something for them that they will not go astray after it. Can you imagine when the Quran is already there with the Sahaba? But he's telling them to bring a paper for him to write, so which means the Quran will send you astray. So now Umar, who is in his right senses according to this hadith, they are insulting the Prophet. They are trying to tell us the Prophet was sick, so he was saying something out of sickness. So now Umar says, Hasbuna kitabullah. Then now the hadith says, فَاخْتَلَفَ ahlul bayti. So the ahlul bayt, the people of the ahlul bayt, they started arguing. Ikhtilaf, meaning to have disagreement. And then what? فَاقْتَسَمُوا, and then they started what? Quarreling. Minhum, between them or among them. Man yakulu, farribu yaktub lakum nabi. He says, some group among them says, let go so that the Prophet will write for you something which you not go astray after it. Whilst another group are saying, He says, وَمِنْهُمْ مَنْ يَقُولُ مَا قَالَ Umar. What Umar said, فَلَمَّا أَكْثَرُوا لَغْوَ. Now, if you check this hadith they are giving you here, by telling you here in this hadith, Umar is saying the book of God is enough. Whilst another group is now saying, no, go, let the prophet write for you so that you will not go astray. What kind of foolishness are they telling us from this comedy book? So the prophet has now brought confusion among his sahabas. So a party are saying the Quran is enough, but they will call us Quraniyun. By the way, their own hadith book, Sunan Ibn Mahajah, 215, it says Ahlul Quran are the people of God. So if you are following the Quran, keep following the Quran. Ahlul Quran, according to their own comedy books, is praising us that Ahlul Quran, we are the people of God, right? Ahlullah. So Ahlul Quran, keep up with the Quran, right? So when Umar was siding with us and he says the Quran is enough, these mushriks were against it. So you saw some of the mushriks, they are still insisting the prophet should write for them something on the paper because the Quran was not enough for them. So according to this hadith again, when the prophet was on his deathbed, which means he didn't write anything for them again, because according to this hadith, when they were making this argument, the prophet told them to leave, to go away. He says, get up and go. He sacked them. He didn't write it for them. So which means the Quran was there and is enough, as Umar said, right? So that it means the Quran was written and is enough. Pay attention, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. This is Sahih al-Bukhari 5669. Write it down. Previously, I quoted Sahih Muslim 3004. Write it down. Now let's go to the next hadith. The next hadith is Sahih al-Bukhari 2740. Let me put it on the screen. When the mushriks are watching like this, they are boiling, they are burning in that. Go and bend the sea. Sahih al-Bukhari 2740. Then I'll put it on the screen for you. Enjoy the show. Enjoy the show. We are going to use their own comedy books to whip them. I'm fighting you, the mushriks. You say I'm fighting Islam. Look at the foolish bozo. You think Islam is for your father? Mushrikim banza kabaka. I'm fighting you, the mushriks out of Islam. You think I'm fighting Islam? Foolish mushrik. Now, Sahih al-Bukhari 2740. For those watching on Facebook and YouTube, it's on the screen. Now, this is the hadith. Remember, it is Sahih. Kindly write it down. Everything I'm quoting for you is Sahih, Sahih, Sahih. By their own comedy scholars, comedians, scholars. Their scholars are comedians, by the way. Sahih al-Bukhari 2740. It's Sahih. We didn't make it Sahih. Their own scholars. The Prophet wasn't even aware they made his statement Sahih. Okay. I'm quoting the hadith. We agree with this hadith. We agree. Hey, they will reject their own hadith because of correctional officer. So this is the hadith. So they will go again. So this hadith, Sahih al-Bukhari 2740. Somebody is asking a question. He says, Hal kana nabiyyu awsa. He says, did the prophet bequeath? Meaning, did he leave a will? Hal kana nabiyyu awsa. Did he leave a will? Now, remember, the hadith is narrated by Talha bin Musarrif, right? Talha bin Musarrif. Here. Talhatu bin Musarrif. Okay. He says, Qala, Sa'altu Abdullahi. bin Abi Awfa. So somebody is asking a question. He is asking, he asked Abdullah bin Awfa, then he says what? Hal kana nabiyyu awsa? Did the prophet leave a will? Did he bequeath something for you? Then the answerer answered. He says, Faqala, la, no, he did not. Hey, so the prophet didn't leave any will. He didn't leave anything at all. He says no. But now we are going to get the summary of the statement. Then he says, Kaifa kutiba ala nasil wasiya. Then how is it that it has been written or prescribed for the people that they should leave a will, a legal will? How is it that the people were rather instructed to leave a will when the prophet has not left a will? Then the person says, or umiru bil wasiya, or they've been commanded also to leave a will. Then he says, Qala awsa bi kitabillah. So now the answerer answered. He said, the prophet left the book of God. Ladies and gentlemen, Sahih al-Bukhari 2740. According to the hadith, the only will the prophet left behind is Kitabullah. That same Kitabullah, according to Sahih al-Bukhari 5669, what did the Umar say? Wa indakum al-Quran hasbuna Kitabullah. He says the book of God is sufficient for us. Remember, he didn't write anything for the Sahaba when they came arguing, right? The prophet didn't write anything when he was on his deathbed. According to the hadith, he didn't write anything. He only left the Quran. And Umar said it is enough. And now again, after he died, somebody is asking, did the prophet leave a will? They say he only left the book of God. Okay, that is hadith number 3. Ladies and gentlemen, correctional officer is only helping you. That is hadith number 3. So now we are going to the confusion part. Hadith number 4. This is from Anas bin Malik. Any hadith you see Anas bin Malik, be careful. Any hadith out there, if you see Anas bin Malik, be careful. So now, Anas bin Malik. This hadith is Sahih al-Bukhari. The next hadith I'm quoting, the previous one is Sahih al-Bukhari 2740. This next hadith I'm going to quote is Sahih al-Bukhari 5004. So let me put it on the screen, ladies and gentlemen. Get your pens ready, because correctional officer 5004. Mushrikai. Mushrikai. Okay, let's go. So according to this hadith here, this is what it says. It says, narrated by Anas bin Malik. He says, when the prophet died, none had collected the Quran but 4 people. This is 4 persons. Here, he says, Qala, Mata Nabiyyu. Then he says, Walam yajma'i al-Qur'ana gayrul arba. He says, when the prophet died, nobody compiled the Quran except 4, meaning 4 people compiled or gathered the Quran. They gathered the Quran, 4 people. Then they give you the name, Abu Darda. Wa Mu'azu bin Jabal. Wa Zaidu bin Thabit. Wa Abu Zaid. Then they said what? Qala wa nahnu warithna. Look, this confusion of their books. I don't know if Science of Hadith. Hey, Hadith indeed. This Hadith is saying that when the Prophet died, none had collected the Quran but 4 people. Then he says Abu Darda and Muaz bin Jabal, Zayd bin Thabit, and Abu Zayd. So Umar's name was not in this list. So Umar, hey, my God. Hey, so Umar was not even on this list, and he was shouting that Hasbuna Kitabullah, the book of God is sufficient. Hey, these mushriks, eh? Imagine all the people gathering at the deathbed of the Prophet, and only 4 people gathered have the Quran with them, gathered the Quran. Ladies and gentlemen, this list, did you see Hafsa's name there? This list I just put on the screen. Did you hear Hafsa's name? Hafsa. Her name on this list? No. Hafsa, right? Her name was not on this list. According to the hadith, Hafsa is the wife of what? Hafsa is the wife of what? Hafsa is the wife of the Prophet. According to their hadith. Hafsa, she is the wife of the Prophet. According to this hadith, it's saying that only 4 people had gathered the Quran with them when the Prophet died. Hey, mushriki, I don't understand. They are trying to make the religion as if the books are for the Arabs, or the book is for the Arabs, and only the Quran, God says, is for mankind. You are telling me only 4 people had it when the Prophet died. Hey, mushrikanga. Seriously. Hey. They are telling us this hadith is Sahih al-Bukhari. Sahih al-Bukhari 5004. Do you see how the confusion these books are causing you in the head? So when Umar was shouting to the other Sahabas that Hasbuna Kitabullah, so he never even had a copy. After all the shouting he was doing, Hasbuna Kitabullah. Hey, Mujirikanga. Hey. So Aisha didn't have, after Aisha saying the goat ate some of the verses, Aisha also didn't have a copy. Hey! So, okay, we are going to catch their lies. Hafsa, according to them, Hafsa is one of the Prophet's wives, right? She has a copy. But imagine Aisha didn't have a copy. And the Prophet had a lot of wives. They didn't have the copies. Hey, Mujirikenga. You can lie, Papa. Totally saw in your books. You see. So now, ladies and gentlemen, this hadith is telling you only 4 people had. After they tell you the last sermon, the Prophet was in his deathbed, the Sahaba, all these Sahaba came, nobody had the copy. Hey, okay. Now let's go to the last and controversial hadith. Then you are going to see the loopholes in this. That's why I call this comedy books. I'm serious. That is why I'm called a correction officer. I'm going to show you something. Let's go to the last hadith. The last hadith is Sahih al-Bukhari 4987. I'm going to put it on the screen. Sahih al-Bukhari 4987. This hadith is very interesting. Let me drink water. This one I have to drink water, because if I don't drink water... Today my water is very sweet too. I don't know if it's because of the hadith. Maybe I'm reading the hadith. That's why my water is very sweet. To be honest, I don't know. My kids, maybe they put sugar in my water. Zuleika, you are laughing, eh? Hey, I didn't see Pasha Blend. Are you here? Hannah Banana. I know you'll be watching later. Peace to you. Let's check here. Okay. So, according to the hadith, this hadith is 4987. Write it down, please. I'm going to read it because it's a long hadith. So, this hadith is interesting. Let me take my time to read it. narrated by Anas bin Malik. Ladies and gentlemen, you see this guy, Anas bin Malik. Please pay attention carefully. Any hadith you hear that is coming from this guy, be careful. Anytime you are reading hadith and you see Anas bin Malik, I repeat, if you see Anas bin Malik, be careful. So he says, this Anas bin Malik, he's the same one who narrated the previous hadith I just mentioned. So he said only 4 people had the Quran when the Prophet died. So meaning the rest of the people didn't have the Quran. Now remember, the 4 people he gave you, the name of Hafsa was not among the 4. But all of a sudden, Hafsa is going to have a copy. We are going to check. This hadith says, narrated by Anas bin Malik. Then he says, Hudayfa bin al-Yaman came to Uthman. So they mentioned the Uthman, saying that he's one of the 4 Khalifas. Then he says, at the time when the people of Sham and the people of Iraq were waging war to conquer Armenia and Azerbaijan. Then he says, Hudayfa was afraid of their people. That is the people of Sham and Iraq, right? Differences in the what? The recitation of the Quran. Differences in the recitation. Ladies and gentlemen, if we say recitation is different from reading, recitation is from the memory. Now, if the Quran was compiled and you say only 4 people had it, meaning they had it, they had the Quran, it's written. So they should have it. Zayd bin Sabit, Abu Zayd, then Muaz bin Jabal, is it Abu Darda? They all have it, right? They have the copy of the Al-Quran. Hey, so which one did Umar say is complete, is enough? Which of the Quran is that? It's one Quran, right? Prophet left only the book of God, one. Now, according to this hadith, it is saying that differences in the recitation of the Quran from people of who? Iraq and Sham. So if they have differences, that is in their own dialect now. It's their own accent and dialect. But however, let's check the hadith. So he said to Umar, this Hudayfa, he said to Usman, Hudayfa is now telling Usman, oh, chief of the believers, save this nation before they differ about the book of God, which is the book, the Quran, as the Jews and the Christians did before. So Uthman sent a message. Listen carefully. Uthman sent a message to Hafsa. I don't know if he used Gmail, if he used Facebook, whether he used Yahoo. So he sent a message to Hafsa. Listen, where they are is like a war zone. But he sent a message to Hafsa, who is back home. I don't know if it's by FaceTime. Is it, how do you call it? FaceTime, right? FaceTime. Or did he use WhatsApp? Because I think WhatsApp is now faster, right? Or is it Telegram? Okay. So he sent a message to Hafsa saying, send us manuscripts of the Quran. Usman sent a message to Hafsa that she should send them manuscripts. So Usman left wherever Hafsa, he didn't have a copy. Usman, among the Khalifas, according to you, you say he's among the Khalifs. He doesn't have a copy. Hey. So he now sent a message to Hafsa. According to the hadith, that's one of the wives of the Prophet. So now she has to now send the manuscripts. Then he says, so that we may compile the Quranic materials in perfect copies, meaning the Quran was not perfect. Hey! So when Umar, the Prophet was dying, and the Umar said, we have the book of God is sufficient. All that time, it wasn't compiled perfectly. And the Prophet was on his deathbed. Imagine his wives are there already. They don't have the perfect copy. So all the Sahabas, All these four Sahabas, you even said they had the Quran. They have the compilation of the Quran. It wasn't perfectly compiled. So now Uthman is the one going to send the Hafsa's manuscripts, and he is going to compile them, listen carefully, into perfect copies, listen, and return the manuscripts to you, Hafsa. So after he did the perfect version, he will send it back to Hafsa. So which means Hafsa should still have her copies. But remember, according to Anas bin Malik in the previous hadith, only 4 people. Hafsa's name was not there. But ladies and gentlemen, there is a cheat code here. Let me show you the cheat code. In the cheat code here, they are going to mention one of the Sahabas who is among the 4 who have the Quran. So let's check. Let's check. He says, Hafsa sent it to Uthman. Uthman then ordered Zayd bin Thabit. Ladies and gentlemen, the hadith I quoted previously, Sahih al-Bukhari 5004. I'm going to mention 4 names. This Zayd bin Thabit was part of the 4. They claim he is part of those who compiled the Quran. So Zayd bin Thabit, all this while, he was with Uthman, but he kept quiet. For now, Uthman to send a WhatsApp message or Gmail to Hafsa to bring the manuscripts she has, so that they can now compile it into perfect copies and now send it back. Whilst Zayd bin Thabit was still there, he has his copy. Why didn't you bring it out? He kept quiet. He wants to hide it. It's for him, right? Okay. So this Zayd bin Thabit, Uthman then ordered Zayd bin Thabit and Abdullah bin Zubair. They keep mentioning these names. What do we need these names for? Abdullah bin Zubair, Sayyid bin Al-As, and Abdurrahman bin Harith bin Hisham to rewrite, listen, to rewrite the manuscript. Now, if the first manuscript with Hafsa is good, and Zayd bin Thabit was also part of those who had the copies when the Prophet died, how come they need to rewrite? Ladies and gentlemen, if you need to rewrite something, there's a problem. Look, in Ghana, we have a tribe called the Ashantis. They use L and R. Whenever they are angry and they start using that, you know there's a problem. We don't say they don't say problem. Not, they will say problem. So now do you know there's a problem? What is this hadith telling us? You said Zayd bin Thabit was among the 4 who inherited the Quran. Hafsa's name was not there. So now all of a sudden, Zayd bin Thabit is with Uthman, but he kept quiet. Uthman now sent a WhatsApp message to Hafsa to bring her manuscripts so that they can now rewrite it into perfect copy. Oh my God. So where is Ali? Where is Umar? Where is Abu Bakr? Where were they? So now Uthman has to make his own decision now. He is the chief of the believers. This I don't know how these stories are. Hey. Let me drink some water. Okay. Let's go. I'm sweating. So Hafsa sent her copy to Uthman. So Uthman then ordered Zayd bin Thabit and then Abdullah bin Zubair and Sayyid bin Al-As and Abdurrahman bin Harith bin Hisham to rewrite the manuscripts in perfect copies. So the previous one Hafsa brought was not perfect, but you have to rewrite from that. Uthman said to the 3 Qurayshi men, In case you disagree with Zayd bin Thabit on any point in the Quran, look at the confusion again. Then write it in the dialect of Quraysh. The Quran was revealed in their tongue. Hey, so the Hafsa, the copies Hafsa sent you, in which in which
God have mercy upon us.
oh my God.
You get it? If you don't get it, forget about
Hey. How is it doing?
God have mercy upon us.
It's not easy. Ladies and gentlemen, let's continue. So the Quran was revealed in their tongue, in the tongue of and then he says they did so, and when they had written many copies, Uthman returned the origin. Listen carefully. Uthman returned the original manuscripts to Hafsa. Ladies and gentlemen, hey. You see here, I have highlighted the text in Arabic. It says here, it says radda Uthmanun radda Usmanun suhuf ila Hafsa. So what Usman did is he returned the suhuf, the manuscripts, back to Hafsa after he has finished writing his version in Qurayshi. Hey, and now after he did that, Usman sent to every Muslim province one copy of what they had copied. So where is the copy of Hafsa? He sent the original one back to her. That's the Mus'haf. He sent it to her. Okay. And ordered that all the other Quranic materials, whether written in fragmentary manuscripts or whole copies, be burnt. How come he didn't burn the one Hafsa had? Because if you have rewritten what Hafsa gave you as the original manuscript, and then you rewrote into perfect copies, you should have sent the perfect copy now to Hafsa, not the original manuscript to Hafsa. So now you send back the original manuscript back to Hafsa. Then the ones you rewrote with the fragment and all that, you burn all that, leaving the rewritten version based on your own authority, not even the prophet's authority. And the mushriks are rejoicing. And then they say, this is how we have the Quran. Hey, is it the Usmani version you are using based on these garbage books telling you that? And then you say, that is how we have the Usmani version. Who is even telling you, the bozos, that this is Usmani version based on this hadith? And you fail to see the contradiction and stupidity in these garbage books. Does it look like, is this hadith making sense to you? Seriously. So he burnt all the copies with them, but he sent the original manuscript back to Hafsa. How come he didn't burn the copy Hafsa had? And why do you need to rewrite something if it is okay? Why do you need to rewrite it? No, you tell me. Why do you need to rewrite something into perfect copies if the original manuscript are okay? Because if they are not okay, why will you take it and copy? Hey, Lord have mercy.
God have mercy upon us.
Ladies and gentlemen, you saw all these hadith narrations I quoted for you. Upon all this, the mushriks will still tell you that the same people who compiled the Quran are the same people who compiled the hadith. Ladies and gentlemen, is 100% false. Wallahi lazim. They are lying to you. Wallahi, it's not true. The last hadith I quoted was Sahih al-Bukhari 4987. That hadith itself is questionable and is total lie, falsehood, contradiction. It's foolishness totally. I'm serious. According to their own hadith book, the prophet, the Quran existed at the time of the prophet before he died. The Quran was there. It was written there. Yes, it was written, is there. And he left it as a will to them. Now you come and tell me Hafsa had a copy. And then now she sent it to Usman. Usman now copied it and sent it back. And then he bent the one around them. Hey, Mushirikanga. Oh, no. Lord have mercy. Seriously, Lord have mercy. Seriously. Somebody says, please, babashuaib, let's talk about the black stone attached to the Kaaba. I want to see something. How did the hadith book explain it? According to their hadith, one of their hadith, they said Umar saw the prophet kissing it, so that's why he went to kiss it. And then he went to the stone and he was talking to the stone. Can you imagine talking to the stone? Ladies and gentlemen, let me give you the example. So let's say this is the stone, the black stone. This is a white cup, but let's say this is the black stone. So according to the hadith, they said the prophet went to the stone and kissed it, and then he left. Umar, out of all people, didn't ask the prophet, what the stone? Why are you kissing it? Because if according to your hadith, you said it was sent from heaven, it came from paradise. So Umar should know already. But now he saw the prophet kissing. Then he went to the stone and he says, I know you cannot benefit me. I know you cannot do me any harm. I'm only going to kiss you because the prophet kissed you. He's talking to a stone.
God have mercy upon us.
So he went to the stone and he's talking to the stone. Seriously, how on earth? This hadith is insulting the prophet, the Sahabas. I'm still shocked. Mushriks don't see it. Wallahi, they don't see the insult. Hey. So he went to the stone. I'm going to kiss you, my beloved. If not because the prophet kissing you, I wouldn't have kissed you. Are you dumb? Can't you ask the prophet, why are you kissing the stone? But according to the hadith, no, he never did. So that is why everybody is doing now in Saudi Arabia. They have to kiss because they say the prophet kissed it. Ask them why, they don't know. They say, yeah, because we have to. So, ladies and gentlemen, babashuaib is cautioning you, don't be a shippo. Yes. Mohammed, thank you. Mohammed from God. In the first question is, why do you need to bring a pen and paper to somebody who you claim he cannot read and write? Yes, when they said the prophet was on his deathbed, and then they said you have to bring a pen and paper to him. If you know he cannot read and write, why does he need to write anything for you? Huh? If that is the case, the prophet will have just told somebody, write it down. I said this. The white should the paper and pen be given to him instead. They try to put in his hands. It doesn't make sense. Huh? No, to be honest, Mohammed, when I'm reading Hadith book, I get tired. To be honest, because my brain is trying to process. Yes, that's the video. That's why Joe Biden told them to quit. They have to. The Mushriks have to quit. Joe Biden is telling them to quit. So seriously, because my brain, sometimes I'm serious when I'm reading Hadith book. I don't know how my brain gets stressed out. Like, that's why I pause for a while. I'm trying to process it, like, because this is the book they say is explaining the Quran. How can the book you claim is explaining the Quran be complicated? Something you claim is explaining the Quran is more difficult. How? I don't let it make sense. I don't get it. You claim this book explains the Quran, but that book rather is difficult to understand. So they say you have to know the mutawatir, the isnad, the science of hadith. What baffles me is when they add the word science of hadith. Yes, Hajj confidence is, babashuaib, why did they even refuse to give him the pen and the paper rather than saying he's not on his senses to write? Anything beneficial to them? Nothing beneficial, because what is beneficial is the Quran. Quran chapter 2 verse 272 says, Laysa alayka hudahum, walakin Allah yahdi man yasha. It told the prophet that their guidance is not upon you, Muhammad. It is God who guides whomever he wills. So if it is God who guides whomever he wills, what else does the prophet have to offer to you? What does he have? Look, we are not saying the prophet is a useless person. Nor are we saying he didn't play any role. He had his role. But it has to be based on what God instructed him. If it is not by what God instructed him, then we don't need it. I'm serious. This is the part mushriks don't understand. Seriously. Yeah. These people keep telling that everything is by memorization. This same Hadith people, they keep saying that everything was memorization. How come these people who are good at memorization now need pen and paper for the prophet when he was on his deathbed? He could have just said whatever he wanted to say. They will memorize it, right? Thank you, Mohammed, for the point. You people claim these people, everything they memorize, they are very good at memorization. So if they want to get something from the prophet, why do you need pen and paper when you can just tell them, okay, oh yeah, prophet, say it, we will memorize it, we are very good, we have even memorized the Quran. Look, they are full, their books are full of gibberish. Nothing is sensible in those books. Now somebody says, but we can get some truth in there. Look, any truth you get in there is just a worldly thing. It's nothing that will put you to paradise from the Hadith books. Nothing. Because that means you are telling me the Quran is not sufficient for your guidance. On the day of judgment, which book will the prophet or the messenger say that people have abandoned? Was it not the Quran? Quran chapter 25 verse 30. قال رسول يا ربي إن قوم اتخذوا هذا القرآن مهجورا. He who said, my people have abandoned the Quran. He never said they abandoned Sunnah or Hadith or anything. They abandoned the Quran. Because that is the book God is going to use to judge you. Do you get my point? So why waste your time with garbage books? A book which the prophet never knew of. People are assigning these garbage books to honorable man. And you are foolishly sitting somewhere in Ghana or Nigeria and saying that, wallahi, if you don't believe in our garbage books, you are a kafir. Oh, no problem. I'm a kafir. Your book, let your book make me kafir 1,000 times. I accept. Is it by force? We have buffet from the Quran, fresh food, buffet, no expiry date. We are okay with that. You want me to leave my buffet and come to your garbage for food? Why? No. Ladies and gentlemen, I've done almost 2 hours. Let me put my phone number. If anybody wants to call, you can call. That is my phone number on the screen, +358 466 803144. That is a correctional officer's number. You can call and ask your questions based on the topic of today that I did concerning the hadith, or whatever you want to ask is there. I gave you all the hadith references. You can check it for yourself. If any scholar wants to do any waffling, any bullshit, tell him babashuaib is available, correctional officer. He should come, let's have a discussion. Everything they are going to tell you is a lie, right? They are going to twist things. Anything they are saying, just say, where did the prophet explain this? Ask them this question. Where did the prophet explain that? That's all. Somebody says, bro, how are we going to conduct funeral rites when someone dies according to Islam? If there is no hadith to guide us, please, I need answer. No problem. I'll give you the answer. It's very easy. So now let's go back and ask God. Quran chapter 5, verse 27. So God says, I should recite to you the news concerning the 2 sons of Adam. So let's go and see what you are going to make of that. According to the verse from the Quran, God says, and recite the news of the 2 sons of Adam to them in truth, when they offered an offering, and it was accepted from one of them, but it was not accepted from the other. He said, I will kill you. He said, God only accepts from the pious. Verse 28, if you should stretch your hands at me to kill me, I will not stretch my hands at you to kill you. Indeed, I fear God, Lord of the worlds. Verse 29, indeed, I intend to make you take over my sin and your sin, then you will be among the companions of the fire. That is the penalty of the transgressors. And his soul subjected him to kill his brother, so he killed him and became one of the losers. Verse 31, then God sent a crow to search in the ground in order to show him how to conceal the body of his brother. He said, oh, woe to me, I have failed to be like this crow, to conceal the body of my brother. So he became one of the remorseful. Now, this is up to verse 32. So because of what happened, because of this situation, then God says, because of that, we decree to the children of Israel that whoever kills a soul other than for another soul or corruption in the land, then it is as if he had killed mankind altogether. Now, the reason why God says whoever kills a soul other than for another soul, like if somebody kills somebody intentionally, that person has to be killed also. This is a law which has to be implemented. Yes, I support that. If somebody kills somebody intentionally, that person should be killed also. An eye for an eye. Then he went ahead to say, or for corruption. Like we see in places like China, Singapore, Vietnam. If you go there with corruption, if you're a corrupt person, they kill you, they sentence you to death. China has a Singapore, please correct me if I'm wrong. I think Malaysia, some countries in the Middle East and Asia. Look, if you're a corrupted person, you bring in corruption. In some countries, when you even smuggle cocaine and drugs, they sentence you to death. I'm serious, because you are bringing corruption. You are going to corrupt the people. They don't need corruption. They will finish you. I support all these kind of laws. Yes, I support it. So now God is saying that because of that, we decree to the children of Israel. There to the children of Israel. Then he says, then it is as if he had killed mankind. So if you kill somebody unjustly without any justification, then it is as if you have killed mankind altogether. So you don't have the right to go and kill somebody unjustly. But the law has to take place when somebody kills somebody. They have to deal with him. And that is why there are prisons like Guantanamo, where somebody kills somebody, murder, they have to also sentence him to death. I agree with such a law, right? Sentence those people to death. Yes. Now, based on the question the brother was asking, we check from Quran chapter 5, verse 27. When you read up to verse 32, it tells you that two brothers were fighting, one killed the other. But the other one who was killed was a righteous person. Number one, do we need... Yes, Muslim, I see your message. Yes, they say Singapore is right. Singapore, you get a death sentence for drugs. And I think they mentioned about some countries, it's Singapore also, concerning chewing gum. If you chew gum, you can go to jail. So now, and I've seen it in Egypt, there are certain tablets you cannot take there. If you take it there and consume it there, you go to jail also. I think one lady from UK was one time arrested in Egypt concerning that. So every country has laws. Please kindly check laws of every country when you are going there. And I think one lady also went to Dubai. She went to United Arab Emirates, and then she went to raise up her voice and made noise in a car rental shop or something, and she was arrested for raising her voice. Yes. So understand people's laws and respect that. If you are in somebody's country, respect the laws. Don't go breaking people's laws. They will deal with you mercilessly. You understand? So based on the question the brother was asking, we don't see any funeral being done for this dead person. Nor did we see any funeral prayer for this dead person. So my question to you is, what do you need a funeral rite for? Is the funeral rite going to do anything for the dead? I'm not saying you cannot show respect to the dead. Fine, if we show respect by trying to, but what does it do? That is the question. Do you understand? What does it do for the dead? If you want to do some funeral rites, I'm not saying it's forbidden. But if you say without the hadith, how can we know? So before the hadith existed, are you saying people didn't know how to do any funeral rites? Seriously? Oh, come on. I don't know how hadiths have made people so naive. Like to think that hadith is oh my God. Hadith is the foundation of guidance. No wonder the hadith books are telling you the best form of guidance is the guidance of Muhammad. So you think hadith is the guidance of Muhammad? Well, no wonder. So ladies and gentlemen, funeral rites can be done without the hadith book. You don't need hadith books to do any funeral rites. If you want to do it, that's up to you. But it does nothing for the dead. Do you understand? So imagine now, two brothers were fighting. The bad one killed the good one, and he buried him. So imagine even a bad person burying you. Does that mean because a bad person is putting you to the grave, you are going to hell? Is that what it means? It is only about your deeds. Quran chapter 39, verse 61. Only your achievement can save you on the day of judgment. So if you have achievement, good achievement, it doesn't matter who is burying you. If you like, be cremated. Wallahi lazim, God will bring you back. Go and read Quran chapter 17, verse 49, up to verse 51. God says, if you like, become stones or iron or metal, he will bring you back. If you like, be cremated. If you like, let the snake swallow you. If you like, go and talk to the whale and let the whale take you away. Let the anaconda, let the helicopter burn you to ashes. God will still bring you back. The same way he brought you out of nothing, you will come back again. Do you get my point? So, ladies and gentlemen, I've done 2 hours, right? Is there any question I've missed? Somebody says what? He says, brother, are we allowed to ask questions? Yes, you're allowed to ask questions. I'll be going to TikTok soon. So if you have more questions, you'll join me on TikTok. Yeah. So Rachel Green is asking, he says, based on the narration of the sons of Adam and the following verses, is it unjust to kill someone who is trying to kill you? No, it's not unjust. Self-defense is actually encouraged by God, right? Self-defense. If somebody is attacking you, you have the right to attack the person too. Quran chapter 42 verse 40 and Quran chapter 16 verse 126. Yes, it's allowed to retaliate on certain things. But however, God is just showing us that even though the other one wanted to kill the other one, he doesn't want to even take a burden of trying to fight him off. He just decided it's his own decision to allow the person to attack him. You understand? But you have to have self-defense. Because let me take you to this verse. Is it? If I remember this verse, is it Quran chapter 22, verse 39? Yes. Quran chapter 22, verse 39. It says, permission has been given to those who are fighting because they were wronged. Indeed, God is able to grant them victory, right? So if you're fighting because somebody wronged you, yes, you can fight. Yes. There's nothing wrong with self-defense. You can defend yourself when somebody wants to attack you. If that is the case, Muslims will just stayed for the mushriks to be attacking them always, just like the time of the Prophet, where God told the Prophet, Ya ayyuhan nabiyyu jahidul kuffara wal munafiqina waghluzu alayhim wa ma'wahum jahannam wa bisal masir. That is Quran chapter 66, verse 9, right? So God exhorted the Prophet to fight the disbelievers and the hypocrites and be stern against them, right? So if you are not stern, meaning they attack you. So imagine the Prophet and the believers at that time, and then they will say, oh, the mushriks are going to fight us. You let's allow them to kill us so that they will carry our sins and then their sins, and then we will go to heaven. Hey, it's like no Muslim will exist on earth again. So you have to stand for your rights, right? So what happened between the two sons of Adam is just a storyline and a moral lesson on what God wants to show us what happened. People make choices and decisions. It doesn't mean we all have to follow suit in that way. Somebody says, babashuaib, be careful when you come to the UK. I'm very careful. Don't worry. Don't worry. babashuaib, look. Quran chapter 3, verse 160. It says, In yansurukumullah fala ghaliba lakum. Then it says, Wa in yakhzulukum faman zallazi yansurukum min ba'dihi wa 'ala Allahi falyatawakkal mu'minin. So mu'minun. God says, if God should support you, none can overcome you. But if he should forsake you, then who is there that can support you after him? So let the believers rely on God. You think if I fear any mushrik, I'll be doing what I'm doing? Never. Yes. So forget about what you think about the mushrik saying, oh, if you come to the UK, you have to be careful. God is on my side. Quran chapter 3, verse 173. Those to whom the people said, indeed, people have gathered against you, so fear them. But it increased them in faith. And they said, Hasbunallah, wa ni'mal wakil. God is sufficient for us as a wonderful representative. I'm going to give you an example of what we call sultan. Sultan means power or authority from God. When God grants you sultan, not even Donald Trump can touch you. The reason is, read the story of Musa alayhi salam, Prophet Musa. He had to go and face Pharaoh. Imagine the kind of tyranny, the might Pharaoh had. Moses didn't have an army with him. Moses never had an army. Moses was merely sent with his brother, the brother who was even scared of his own people. The ones they nearly beat him up to worship idols. And Moses came and grabbed him by the beard. If you read Quran chapter 20, let the story of Musa be an inspiration. Musa was told to go and speak to Pharaoh, and God said, go, we are with you, and we are among the watchers, we are watching. So go and speak to Pharaoh. Moses had doubt. He was scared. He was thinking, hey, Pharaoh is a mighty man. He could annihilate me with a blink of an eye. But when God is in control, not even mushriks have the power to do anything. I'm serious. Do you know how much the mushriks hate babashuaib? But do you know the power God has given me? Well, God will show it to you. Don't worry. So you don't let that be a worry for you and say, babashuaib, be scared. You have to be careful of this. You think I didn't know? I don't know who they are and how they are crazy. I know them very well. I've been doing my videos for the past 8 years with the help of God, because I don't fear anybody by God. So let me give you the last verse. The last verse is found in Quran chapter 33, verse 38. Listen what God says. And let me put it on the screen so people can see it clearly. In Quran chapter 33, verse 38. 39. Quran chapter 33, verse 39. God says, Allazina yuballiguna risalatillahi wa yakhshawnahu wa la yakhshawna ahada illallah wa kafa billahi hasiba. So God says, those who convey the messages of God, Allah, while fearing Him, such will not fear anyone but Allah. And sufficient is God as a recorder. If I have God as my wakil, tell me who the hell on this earth should I fear? You give me a name. Who? Now, the one you said I should be afraid of, are we not going to stand in front of God? So who should I fear? Should I rather fear the devil, or should I rather fear God? So if I have God on my side, you tell me now, who should I fear? Do you get my point? So forget about the mushriks and say, oh, I should be afraid of who, yeah, baby. No. They cannot do fokuk. I will strike them with the truth till they wake up. That is the point. Because I have the truth, so they will keep being afraid of the truth. That is the point. Let them keep running away, because I have God on my side. The mushriks are sent to the gutters. Let them go and bend the sea. That's the best they can do. Bend the sea. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And thank you, Sister Zoleika, for your question. Yes. So I needed to answer that so that people would know why I do what I do, right? This is why babashuaib, I'm very outspoken, because I have God on my side. Everything I say, I'm speaking based on what God says. If people say I'm misleading people, please, babashuaib is available. Call me, let's have a dialogue. Then I'll set you up as a scapegoat. Wallahi, I'm not scared of anybody. I'm out there. I'm not scared of anybody. Yes, anybody but God. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen. babashuaib, this is where I bring the topic to an end. In case I missed your question, I apologize. Kindly join me on TikTok. I can help you out, inshallah, God willing. And the mushriks, if you're on TikTok, please wait for me. I'm coming there. I only have 2 hours to join you there, right? Because I have to work the next day. Thank you very much. Untold Stories. Fatima Chin, thank you very much. We have 2G is the realest. I see you. Salim Ther, S. Faraj, thank you very much. I appreciate the Flying Dutchman, Shaheen Samhin, Lamin Toure. We have Mark JB, thank you very much. Sister Diana, Jacob Astor. Hey, Brother Mohammed, S. Batlat, salam to you. Long time. We have Tadzi. I have Hajj Confidence. The ablution is found in Quran chapter 5, verse 6. Is a name, they give it the name wudu. The mainstream Muslims say wudu. Quran says ghusl, right? To wash up. just wash up, to wash and wipe is ghusl. But they give it the name ablution because it's the set of the rites you have to follow by washing. So that's why they say ablution. So if you go to Quran chapter 5 verse 6, is there. I have a video on that. Go to my YouTube playlist. I have the Salat series, or is that the methodology of the Quran? Yes, if you go, I have all these videos to show you. I've done a new video on Salat. I'm still editing it. I'm putting it in a way that the text will be on the screen. The postures, everything I'm doing will be explained by the text and visible. Just like the way you see me editing my videos mostly. So you see everything will be clearer enough. The video quality will be very good. Thanks to my brother Mohammed also. I appreciate his support. He has done a wonderful job. So now people can enjoy watching the correctional officer the best way you can. By the way, I never thought I was handsome like this until my videos became very clear. Because back then, when you watch my videos, it's as if my cameras hate me. So I look very dark. But now you see my color is very shining. When the mushriks see me like this, then they get agitated. They are infuriated. Don't worry, I'll be going to Baba Sedu and Jimmy. Normally, they give me the trimming and I look younger, like a 16 years old. I'll be trimming again. Then the mushriks will be burning down there. They wish babashuaib will be no more on earth. But don't worry, God will make me live 100 years. I'll keep making videos, inshallah. 100 years, you will be burning in your houses, you see. Ladies and gentlemen, babashuaib is going to TikTok. Kindly join me, let's have fun. Then maybe the mushriks will be coming there. I appreciate your support. God bless you all. Till we meet again next week, God willing. So let me leave you with acrobato laugh and then play one video maybe before I go.
God have mercy upon us.
And then you koda, nessa de bechi. Inti me kase history be any way authentic. This is Quran.
History be any way.
Because every history has been touched. It can be changed. Even the hadith are Quran. There are some hadiths are totally. Into your great hadith, you know, your Hassan, your Sahih, your muttafaqun alayhi, your da'if.
Time to rise and meet the challenge. Babashuaib is calling you out. Meet Babashuaib, a correctional officer with a mission. Today he's throwing down the gauntlet to the mushriks, no more holding back. With his logo shirt and cap, Babashuaib sits tall and confident. He says, the time for action is now. It's time to rise, to push past limits, and to become the best versions of ourselves. Babashuaib believes in the power of determination and resilience. His challenge is simple. Stand up, face your fears, and conquer them. Every day is a new opportunity, he says. An opportunity to grow stronger, to be better, and to leave a mark on the world. So, are you ready to accept Babashuaib's challenge? Are you ready to rise above and beyond? Join Babashuaib and let's show the world what we're made of, because the only limit is the one you set for yourself.